Ooh. Hey, boys and girls, weather report for April 19th, 2021.
That's right.
Time flying.
You know what tomorrow is?
The April 20th.
420.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So 420 on 420 should be a special time.
420.
By the way, Scott, can I just say that the hyena, the picture of a hyena you have is very adorable. Like I don't know, I see it every week, every day, but I don't know. It's starting to grow on me.
You're just feeling those good feelings, those good vibes from the donut.
Yes, I am.
Thumbnail.
I mean, are the hyenas canines or are they felines?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're sort of in between. Wasn't there some controversy about which kind they were or something? Or is that some other weird ass hyena like thing? I think they were having trouble figuring out what.
Are you talking about the mythical and spurious Bible kind?
Yeah, the Bible kind, yeah.
Of creationism.
Braminomes, they call them now. Braminomes or something. I think braminomes are the genome of the kind. So
they keep
we did that.
Words to describe their pseudoscience.
Yeah, we did that phylogeny thing last night, and with Erica and y'all, and Standing for Truth came out and had a little chat going on with himself, I think, because I think SpongeBob if SpongeBob Imagination is not his sock account, then it's definitely an actual mirror image of him. And I thought it was fun.
Okay, how can you tell? Here's the thing. Like, how can you tell if it is his sock account or him? Like, there has to be a way to tell, right?
Yeah, you can with IPs, I think, if you dig into the. I mean, I don't know if you can still do it if they blocked in security, but you used to be able to dig out a person's IP out of their email header. I don't know if you can still do that. I haven't done that shit in 20 years, but I used to be able to do it. I used to be able to figure out whether a person was coming from the same IP. Anyway. Well, let me see.
To be fair, two people could be using different computers that share the same IP. If they live together.
Yeah, but you still know it's a sock account, roughly. I mean, it's like the matter of because when you ban people, you can ban the IP, I think. So, okay.
Hold on. Oh man. Hold on.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't see. Okay, here we go. For some reason, I thought it said G, man. Oh man, Erica repeating the same arguments on the ERVs. Remind me what that is again.
Endogenous retroviruses.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Don't scroll. Okay. That we just demolished forever on our like. But stand. Oh God, I can't talk. Demolished forever, and the response to stated clearly. That poor girl has nothing left to offer. No wonder why she runs from debates with informed creationists now. What in the fuck did I just read?
So, and then look at this. Okay, so the next thing is SpongeBob Imagination comes back and says, "Ha ha." All team dodgeball is good for now. It's a good laugh here and there. They
Wait,
really lost.
what if SpongeBob Imagination is just It's just a not mundane math. Fucking sorry, it's raw math. I'm not just a kid. You know what I mean?
I think it's Stanley's sock account. He's having a conversation with himself here.
But he's tried so hard to get away from SpongeBob because, and I shit you not, he believes somebody convinced him that SpongeBob is demonic.
Oh, anyway, but look at the structure of this. We got Stanley, then SpongeBob, then Stanley, then SpongeBob, then Stanley, then SpongeBob.
I mean,
SpongeBob
it just sounds
twice.
like a regular. It just sounds like a regular comment chain. Like I don't know. Like I see what you're saying, but it's at the same time, it's like I don't know if I see them being stock accounts.
And then I put, damn, SFT is having a conversation with his sock account now. If it ain't a sock account, it sure sounds like it because they didn't really say anything. But let's say comedy show, punchline, what else?
Haha, thanks, brother.
All that stuff. So then I put this in my chat. This is a warning to creationist trolls who spam a chat with worthless comments will be deleted. If all you have is insults and no real arguments or rebuttals, then be prepared for having your comments removed. For example, standing for truth is so utterly incapable of refuting anything in this video, he has resorted to ad hominems. So, you think that was real cruel of me to say that?
I mean, yeah. You just, yeah.
I'm going to censor him.
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe that's fair. Maybe that's fair. Maybe that's not fair. I don't know.
Doesn't he censor you?
No, he doesn't block me, but he apparently doesn't have anything against blocking people.
Honestly, rather than talking about them, why don't we talk about my paper?
Nope, not yet. Not ready.
Oh, that's fine.
Did you write?
No, I found an interesting paper about epigenetics. I didn't write a paper yet.
Okay.
And by the way, Scott, your mic, you just cut out.
I cut out on paper.
Yes.
Gotcha. I think I hit the mute button a little too soon.
Okay, you saw what I wrote, right?
Yes, that's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I still want to read.
Isn't it amazing that me and Stanley think so much alike that we put the same comment in our, basically.
I mean, they do say, go ahead.
He said atheist, and apparently he blocked Cygnus Ustus.
I mean, they do say there are some people who are linked, to share a bond. I guess you and Stanley share a bond.
Actually, I copied it out of Stanley's chat.
I know you did. I was there
Okay.
when you said it. Is a very immature adult. Cygnus. If you go scroll down.
He's a very immature. Unfortunately,
you two are ignorant morons. No response to that. Like,
yeah, he didn't delete that one.
No.
And then one court man. Oh, what else we got here? Great content, brother. Just keep up the good work. This is just some brilliant fucking shit here, man. Some really brilliant shit that they put out. I think I forgot to hit the share audio button.
You did.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to show quickly, where's Topdawg? Did Topdawg? He only comes in when he gets a link, or does he show up?
He had to go. He had something to do.
Oh, damn. So let's see here. I got a video that Topdawg provided for us, but I can't play it really because I'm afraid of a copyright on this one. I don't know why.
Actually, he had to go shopping. I went back and reread his little note.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll be going shopping in like 2 hours because I need some groceries.
Okay. I didn't share the audio on this or anything, but This is, let me see here. It's called First 5 Days of Life. Smarter Every Day, and it's on a site called Smarter Every Day. Yeah.
Well, okay. So are we just supposed to like? What are we even? What is this?
Okay. It's something that everybody should watch, and I'll put the
Well,
link in our description, and I'll also put it in chat. But it shows a little chick developing in real time, and they have these microscopes set up so that you can. Let's see if we have it here. Does he show it? I don't know where he
live
shows.
chicken
Yeah,
embryos. Interesting.
yeah, yeah. It's some kind of museum, and it's really cool. And over here on the end, you can see you can actually watch the thing's heartbeat. It's really. Why are you buffering? You buffering fool. 243. Yeah, okay. 243 right there. Okay, you can see the heartbeat?
Yeah, that is beautiful. That is just like that is life right there. But
Yeah.
okay, so, but what happens? What happens? What happens to the chicken after it's fully developed? Like, do they release it from the like what? You know what I mean? Do they kill it? What's going on?
Okay. What happens after it's fully developed? Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I meant after it's fully developed in the box or whatever the fuck it is.
I don't know. They don't really say. Are you? Oh my God! What about? Are you making a pro-life argument here for chickens?
No, I'm not making a pro-life argument for chickens. I'm just wondering what happens to them after, after they fully develop. But do they?
All you need to know is Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Uh, well, no, I'm kidding. I love chicken. Moving on.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Clearly,
No.
you know what? Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to come to term, that chicken.
Yeah, probably
shell.
not.
Might, I don't know. I have no idea.
But,
Maybe
but then how is it growing without the shell? Doesn't the embryo need the shell? Or no? I mean, clearly not if it's developing and...
Yeah, the embryo doesn't. They just keep it warm and protected and keep it from drying out, and it'll be fine. Which I'd never seen before. I didn't. I mean, I knew they cut holes in shells and observed this stuff, but I didn't realize they could completely take them out of the shell. So, but that's pretty cool. So I put that in the description. So
How
anyway.
fragile and precious life is.
Yes, it is. And then okay.
But you know, but you know, our our designer created the universe. Fuck off.
Now, your epigenetic paper that you were going to show, I consider it bordering on pseudoscience.
I mean, it's not pseudoscience if it's on a website that's respectable.
Yeah, well, they make a point, and I think it was that if you eliminate stress in your life, there are going to be some epigenetic effects. But epigenetics is a word that we probably shouldn't even use anymore, because it has become so broad and it's so confused.
I mean,
gene regulation, and people get the idea. People get the idea that you can go out and modify your genes by thinking about shit and by diet and stuff like that. And yes, to some extent, that is true. Okay, yeah, but it's a little tiny pinch of the whole story. And it's not
right. I know, but that little tiny pinch makes a big difference. Speed. That's the point.
No, it doesn't. It's not going to make any. It'll probably make a 3-week difference in how long you live at the very best. If you remain chill and calm.
I'm not even talking about longevity. I'm talking about the effect that it has. That it has on cortisol level. Like the paper, the paper does beautifully explaining, you know what I mean? Like what epigenetics is and the effects it has in the body. If you want to, on the side, if you want to, click it and share it so I can read it.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm just
uh,
very passionate about this. So if I'm
well,
arguing
I
against
know.
you, it's because, yeah.
What was the name of the paper?
Hang on a sec. Let me go back up. Molecules of Silence. Effects of meditation on gene expression and epigenetics. It's from the NCBI, PMC, U.S. National Library, Library of Medicine, National Institute of Health, and Frontiers in Psychology.
Who was the first author?
The first author is Sabrina Venditti. Second, Loredana Verdone. Third, Anna Real, whatever. Valerio Vetriani, Michaelia Casitarno, and
I asked for.
Michelle Zampini. I don't know. I can't pronounce these names.
I just asked for the first author
Oh, well,
because. Did I download that paper? Okay, where the hell is that paper?
I don't
So
know,
how
but
did
it's
you
in the
send
side
it?
chat.
Well, can you link it somewhere?
I did in the side chat, in the private chat.
Private chat. What's that?
Scott, do you see the link, or am I going crazy?
Do you have a wrench?
I see it. It's there.
Who would ever look at private chat?
Oh my gosh, Speed.
Stop fucking with me, okay? Please. Stop
You've
fucking
got to
with me.
start looking at private chat.
Yeah, can you put them in? Can you have them both open at the same time?
You know what? For
I
you,
don't
Speed,
think so.
I'll post it.
I can't. I don't know about
Yeah, for
anybody
you,
else. I
Speed, I'll
can.
post it
Yeah.
in the chat. Yeah, I'll post it in the chat also, so you can post it in the description, just for you, Speed.
Am I being a little bitch?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, okay. The PDF is available, so I downloaded the goddamn thing, but I can't. Oh, that's Fupasig. Fupasig. Let's open Fupasig. Hang on a second here. Stop screen. Share. So it's freely available. Well, look at your pseudoscience.
I mean, you could call it you could call it pseudoscience. You can call it pseudoscience if you want, but whatever.
Well, it's just people got to stop with the pop science bullshit, and like
It's literally a Wow,
I know this is literally a paper. It's literally a paper. I know that. So anyway, they literally make a case here somewhere. So, okay. So many studies have consistently demonstrated epigenetic link between environmental stimuli and physiological as well as cognitive responses. Yep. There is a link. I'm guessing there is.
Okay, so what's the problem?
The narrative is the problem. The narrative that develops from this kind of talk and thinking.
Okay, well, blame the narrative that develops, not the science.
Okay, good enough. So this is the actual science. For instance, the addition of methyl groups to cytosines. Okay, we know that. Condensation of chromosomes. So epigenetic stress and importance of mindful life. Okay, here we go. Here's the meat. So altered profiles of whole genome DNA methylation were found in brain specimens associated with early life adverse experiences. Now, we know that too, that early on, if you stress the hell out of a kid, you end up with some pretty serious problems.
Right, and that's the that's the beauty of this of this pseudoscience paper, quote unquote.
But the problem with that is that there's no way to reverse that in later life that we know of.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, even though I read I'm starting to sound like Standing, for fuck's sake. I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to sound like Standing.
PTSD, again, animal models, okay. Histone acetylation profiles of small non-coding RNAs activity have been found in depression. Okay, so they found it in depression. So, okay, how much of this can we change? Maybe I'm wrong here, Midnight.
I mean,
well,
I'm
probably wrong about this paper, but I'm not wrong about the narrative.
Speed, I love you, but sometimes you just.
We just have a little disagreement over this. Okay.
I'll try. Like he's gonna hate me for this, but I'll try not to become immutable.
Yeah. One,
Sorry, buddy. I had to take a crack at you.
okay, potential reversibility aimed at improving life conditions and behavior. So, have they early studies of environmental enrichment in rodents, sensory cognitive, increased physical activity? I don't know. Yeah, maybe maybe it's good paper.
I mean, it is. I wouldn't give you pseudoscience.
So, are you proof? I mean, does it keep you from going on Stinky's channel if you meditate?
You know what? I deserve that. I deserve that, Speed.
Well, let's try an experiment. Start meditating, and we'll see if it makes a change, and you stop showing up on channels where they do nothing but call you names and abuse you.
Oh, you mean like you're doing now? You mean like you're doing now? Okay, buddy. If you have to stop going on channels where they do that, I guess I'll leave.
Touche. Appropriate lifestyle, as reported above, mental and emotional health can be ameliorated by the experience of inner silence, which induces a state of equanimity and leads to improved. I believe all that. I know it does this. I guess, how does it do this? Yeah.
Well, when are they talking about the stress? When is the stress applied? Is this?
Well, they talk a little later about cortisol, I think, and I think cortisol is like. Well, we know that if you live with high levels of cortisol, that can affect your heart. I think they've done studies.
Yeah,
Genetic.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I could also find you an article from Psychology Today that also talks about that. They also talks about the epigenetic effects of epigenetic changes of people with PTSD, like before and after. That was an interesting thing I found, and I think they also link to scientific studies, not pseudoscience. Even though I know what you're saying about the narrative surrounding epigenetics and how it's often misunderstood. Like, I get that. That was never my contention.
Didn't they originally link it to like heart attacks? Way that like this has been around for a long time, right? This
Yeah,
Yeah, the heart
correlation.
attack.
Yeah.
Okay, cortisol awakening response (CAR), a more appropriate measure of stress resilience. In the study by Kane et al. 2017, CAR appeared significantly increased after training. Importantly, BDNF, a central regulator of neuroplasticity, my favorite type of subject, was also found to increase following practice, both in healthy, keto, and depressed subjects. If you're gonna keep scrolling, okay. Since BDNF can cross the blood-brain barrier, it is possible to assume that peripheral BDNF levels may reflect those in the brain. Catania et al. 2016. These results suggest that yoga may counteract neurodegenerative processes triggered by various types of stress by reducing cellular aging and preserving neuroplasticity in the brain. Finally, reduced plasma cortisol levels and increased BDNF were associated with cardiovascular health. Similarly, the practice of Tai Chi and I can't pronounce that. Yeah, King Yang was shown. Was shown to improve immune function by reducing plasma inflammatory cytokines. Moreover, increased blood levels of endorphins and reduced levels of adrenocorticotropic. Thank you. Adrenocorticotropic hormone (ACTH) and cortisol will indicate a positive impact on the HPA axis. Genome-wide approaches to gene activity using both plasma and blood samples have started. Will you stop? Speed. I'll tell you to. You make me lose my place. Genome-wide approaches to gene activity using both plasma and blood samples have started to be employed to elucidate the effects of mind-body activities. Reviewed and gene modulation. The first microarray analysis of global mRNAs were carried out in a cross-sectional pilot study of Klingon long-term practitioners. Results showed modulation of several sets of genes having common functions related to enhanced immunity, lower cellular metabolism, and delayed cell death. Subsequent longitudinal observations revealed that yoga, yeah, I know, that yoga was able to induce rapid gene expression
Sorry.
changes. What?
Sorry.
Okay, Danny. Changes in PBMCs, peripheral blood mononuclear cells. Similarly, differential expression of genes related to type 1 interferon response and inflammation was reported following daily yoga in a population of breast cancer survivors. In addition, now you can go down.
Can I scroll now?
Yes, please. Okay. What the fuck? Okay. In addition, a number of microarray studies revealed transcription profile changes following Tai Chi involving pathways of inflammation, antiviral response, energy, and adrenergic adrenergetic adrenergetic. Can someone help me with that?
Adrenergic.
Yes, thank you. Activation in PMBNCs. While differential gene expression and protein levels appear in most cases correlated and coherent with observed biological, you need to like go all the way up, or like you need to go up. There we go. Biological effects, the mechanisms involved are mostly unknown. However, the involvement of epigenetic regulation seems to be the most likely scenario. Nevertheless, research on epigenetic profiles following mindful movement practices is rare, with only 2 published studies involving yoga and Tai Chi practitioners. DNA methylation occurs predominantly at CPG sites located at promoter regions that are known to undergo age-related changes. 2025. The first cross-sectional study by analyzed the epigenetic effects of Tai Chi on the modulation of 66 sites using saliva samples from experienced practitioners. They observed that 6 GPG sites on different chromosomes showed significant differences between the trainees and controls. Interestingly, these authors reported that the age-related methylation trend at those CPGs was slower in the Tai Chi group versus the controls. Since the age-related decline of DNA methylation reflects the gradual deterioration of important regulatory functions of the genome, the authors speculated that the practice of Tai Chi might protect
Against.
Okay, might protect. Oh, here we go. Might protect against the age-related decay of the epigenome. Subsequently, a similar cross-sectional study was conducted by Herkes et al. 2016, who focused on the CPG methylation levels of candidate genes involved in immune function, namely TNF, IL-6, and CRP, in blood samples of chronically stressed women practicing yoga compared to the waitlist group. Their main result was that yoga was associated with hypomethylation of the TNF gene, while IL-6 and CRP appeared unaffected. Interestingly, the same result was observed when the waitlist group that later participated in the yoga intervention was analyzed. However, because of the pilot approach of these studies, further research is required to validate the link between DNA methylation and these practices.
Okay.
I mean, there's more if you want to continue. If not, I guess I made my point.
Yeah. Yeah, so there seems to be some evidence that you can, which, when you think about it, didn't we kind of know that to begin with? That, if you mellow out and stop going on Stinky's channel, that you'll feel better?
Can you let that go, please? It was a mistake yesterday. Fuck off, please. I get it. I won't go back on.
Did I bring that up again?
Yes, you did, you dick.
Okay, I'm just saying. Well, I like to use an example from current events on YouTube as to
Yeah, you want to be relevant. You don't want to be
Yeah.
talking about what happened back in 1956.
or on Sunday.
What happened in 1956?
Let's see. I got
We don't
thrown
talk
out of
about that here. We don't talk about that
kindergarten
here.
for the first time. I got thrown out of school, I think, in 1956. And that was the first time I got thrown out of school. It was the beginning of a long, long journey.
But yes, the point of this thing is that there is some evidence to suggest that there are epigenetic changes, but it's not like with everything, as they said, there are some studies that seems to show that yoga does help, but not it's what I mean. Like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, there is evidence to suggest that it does help. And yes,
Yeah,
I know. I know. Yes, I know. Also, staying away from stinky helps.
well, no, this is interesting because if they do find a connection and they figure it out, they're actually going to figure out the mechanism of why you feel better when you say go to church or when you meditate or do yoga or do any of those things that we kind of know make an improvement in your life. They're going to show that.
Look at a puppy with a donut
with
Yeah.
on his
donut.
head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But I mean-
basically, yeah.
but I mean the significance of showing that common things in our life that we know work to improve our lives actually have a chemical basis that we could scan, with a RNA profile.
Yeah, but
What does
speed,
that tell you? What does that
Speed.
tell you about the brain and the mind?
Well, yes, but to me, I don't know if I've explained. Maybe I explained this to you this morning, but to me, it makes perfect sense that a lot, if not if not all of our of our biological functions, as well as our mental, psychological, and emotional functioning, is regulated by genes, regulated by epigenetic factors acting on those genes. Because
Yeah.
because we know that genes at the end of the day are merely a blueprint, and I'm using blueprint as an analogy here, not literal blueprint. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not only that, but it tells us that those kind of practices can make long-term effects on our mental health.
Yes.
That we can change our mental health by something that we choose to do, which is interesting. And it's like, we kind of know that. We kind of know if we become less angry people, we're going to feel better.
Right. We know that, but we never knew. Hang on. But we never knew the biological aspect of it, because we knew that, but at the same time, people always thought, well, you may know that, but you don't know if that's true. Like, having the science behind it only makes the case stronger, not weaker. You would agree?
Yeah. Yep. So I will put this in the description and the chat. Okay, you changed my mind a little bit here.
Good. You know what? I hate to do this again, but this conversation was more productive than the 3 or 2 you have with Immutable and Leo. Okay?
Yeah.
So everybody, y'all need to write this down. Speed did change his mind on something, and and this is the day, this is the time. Write it down, make a note. We shall celebrate it this time next year.
Prior to this, I thought it was healthy and good for you to go on Stinky's channel, but now I realize.
Let that go. I'm sorry. I'll stay away. Jesus Christ, Speed. I never should have told you. I mean, you would have found out eventually anyway, but
I'm just pointing out where I changed my mind.
I know. I'm just, you know what? Fuck it. I'll take it. But hey, you are doing the same thing you accused them of doing, buddy. Okay.
I know. Going and watching, I watched Standing and Poop today, and Raw Matt and the Fruit Bat, and I watched a little bit of Small Cordova, and I'm not a better person for it.
Okay, who the hell is Stefan Mudd? Because what they just said, stress induces persistent functional changes in histone code and DNA methylation. Epigenetics mediates stress-induced changes of expression of CRH, GR, and AVP. Not sure how accurate that is, but
Yeah, that's well. No, it just said one of those was just in the paper. I think CRH, and yeah. Okay, so I mean that's a thing, and that's interesting, and that's kind of good news for mankind if you stop
yes.
watching Fox News and CNN at the same time, and just
Now,
watch
now,
heartwarming things
Speed.
like this puppy.
Yeah, now, Speed. Am I to assume that you watch those two news channels?
I started watching Fox News about 2 years ago, and my
Okay.
son made me put a reminder in my 4 years ago when Trump got elected.
Of
I
course.
decided to watch Fox News so that I could get both sides of the story. And my son made me put a yearly reminder in my phone to check to see if I'm a Trump supporter. And so every year this reminder pops up and says, check to see if you're a Trump supporter. But I couldn't stand watching it for more than a couple of episodes. And I tried to be, I was just trying to be unbiased and get both sides of the story.
I mean, apparently.
There was one place where I went to Fox News and I got more of the story than I did on CNN.
That's
So,
a miracle.
and this wasn't their bullshit, shows that they have. This was their actual news. They did a better job of explaining a bill. CNN just hand waved it,
Okay.
and Fox News got into it. So I thought that was interesting.
Sorry to interrupt, Speed, but Cafe actually said something I agree with, and it's not totally insane. Reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. Like and before you jump down his throat, like I understand what he's trying to say.
Okay, so let me see if I can stop a bullet here. Hang on a second. I'm going to shoot my hand, okay? I'm going to mind stop it. Or should I shoot this kitty?
Why the fuck would you want to shoot a kitty? Come on, man. Kitties are adorable.
Oh my God, these cats are
puppies.
They're such a pain in the ass.
I mean, puppies are a pain in the ass, but we love them, especially when they have a donut on their head.
I got a sword here.
I can't get over how cute. Can you send me that image? I want to look at it.
Yeah, there's a bigger image, but
it's so adorable.
Where are we? There he is.
Hey, cat. What was his name again?
Thor. This is Thor.
Oh, he's so. You know what? Make yourself full screen. We need to see the majesty that is the cat.
The majesty that is the cat.
No, that's so adorable.
A very content cat.
Yeah, right.
Pretty good cat. Yep. Thor, you're famous now. Famous Thor.
The banner is ruining it, to be honest. Get rid of the banner. We want to see the cat only.
Want to see the cat only. Okay, there's Thor. Now you get the full effect of Thor. Here you go, Thor.
I'm going to be watching this later to calm myself because that is so adorable.
If we can just put a pink donut on its head.
Right?
Yeah. Well, let's see. He does like hats. I put a little nicotine wrapper on his head.
Why the hell would you do that?
They love that. I do that all the time for them.
Like,
I always do that. And then they give me this look like, stop doing that. Stop it.
Right.
Stop it. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. You can put us back to the way we were.
I don't know how to do that.
There we go. By the way, you want to stop sharing the paper? I mean, I made my point. I called it a win.
Paper's in the description.
Yep.
So.
Woohoo!
Anyway.
What are we ending already?
No. So my niece found these 2 tuxedo cats for me about 8 years ago, and every week I threaten to send them back to her to return them because they're defective.
Defective? Well, wait. Thor loves you. What the? Like, what do you mean?
And
He's just sitting there.
she says, no backsies, no backsies. I can't return them. It's just like,
Yeah. He's just laying there, chilling out. Loving you to pet him. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
he's on the on my mouse pad or my newsprint pad that I use to move my mouse. And when I'm trying to do something, he's right there, either him or Loki. And when Thor jumps down, Loki jumps up.
Why did you name him Thor and Loki? Anyway, just
Because Loki was obviously had a bad time when he was a little pre-kitten, when he was like 1 or 2 weeks old. So for the first 6 weeks that I had him, it took me 6 months to get that cat to calm down enough to come up under my chin, Whereas this one, Thor, was under my chin for the first 6 weeks of his life. That's where he lived. But Loki, it took Loki forever. He hid in my library for 3 weeks, and he would hiss at me every time I went in there. But he was like,
come on, he didn't know you.
Well, he weighed about 2.5 ounces, so it wasn't a really big deal, It's like,
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed with his hissing, but he was obviously damaged. They found both these cats, I think, outside under a porch in the winter
that's sad.
in February in northern Minnesota. So,
Ouch. Yeah, that's no good. That's
they
no
would've
good.
died. They got a pretty nice life now. They're pretty fat. They got their own yard. They got a fenced yard that's like at least 5,000 square feet of fenced yard, and with a roof fence so the eagles can't eat them. Yep, they got a good life.
Yeah, my dog had a good life too. Too bad we had to put her down on Friday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we put my dog down on Friday. It was sad.
Well, I'm very sorry there. Midnight.
Yeah, thanks. She lived 16 and a half years. She lived a good life.
Yep.
It's going to be hard to let go of Gibbs, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll feel the same way about Kira. I haven't had her as long is the only deal. But Gibbs, he's my companion. He used to go with me everywhere. Whenever I'd go to Arkansas to see my mom, he'd go with me.
Dogs are man's best friend. Cats are.
Yeah, he like always curls up next to me when I'm sitting on the couch, that kind of thing. So he's my compadre.
I was like wondering something, right? Like, if we domesticated the dogs, like, before years before cats, does that mean that in a few more generations, cats are gonna be man's best friend?
It's gonna take a lot longer than that with cats.
I will genocide cats before that happens.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're a three-headed dog, so you're kind of biased here towards dogs. So we can understand.
It's the sociability of dogs that kind of made them end up with us, because they just went from, a pack kind of situation to a tribe situation. Where they basically apparently started out by just eating our trash and garbage that we left lying around outside our.
Well, before dogs, wolves existed, but yeah, the dogs are the descendant of wolves, if I remember correctly.
Well, I'm just gonna say, a dog will fucking die for you. A cat will eat your face after you're dead.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I will agree with that. And and not only that, it's like a dog will wait 25 years for you to come home, even though you never come home because you're dead.
Yeah, right.
God, I love that story.
When was the last time you saw the news covering a cat that goes by your grave every day?
Right. Well, a cat will rip your arm off if you pet them on the belly one more time than they want you to.
Right.
It's like, and they will rip your arm off if you don't pet them on the belly. So, but you're supposed to somehow know that they only want 3 pets on the belly.
I mean, I can make.
They're gonna rip your arm off.
I could make a joke right now, but it could be but it would be kind of sexist.
I'm pretty sure if we took a big survey and we identified a bunch of psychopaths, they would have a higher ownership of cats.
Actually, oddly enough, Buffalo Bill had a dog. So how do you explain that?
Yeah, well, that dog still loved them then, didn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, speaking of psychopaths, these two bring a mouse in, and they don't kill the mouse. They don't even hurt the mouse. They put them on the floor, and they play with them for like 1 or 2 days. And eventually, like I literally watched. Okay, one mouse was sitting in the middle of the floor, and they were sitting around messing with it. And I watched that mouse stand up and drop dead right in front of me, and he died of despair. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, cats are tiny Hitlers.
I mean, a fucking mouse. It's just like after 2 days of these two, and of course I didn't intervene because I don't, but I probably should. I don't know. Anyway, he died of despair. He just fell over and died. It's like, what the
You
fuck?
should have took that mouse's cortisone and other chemical, from that paper. See
Epigenetics.
see how the epigenetics worked for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen similar things happen to people that go on Stinky's channel.
Jesus
They
Christ.
just eventually just fall over and die of despair.
Will you let that go?
I am trying to let it go. I watched the whole thing. You told me to watch it, didn't you?
Granted,
Why did you tell me to watch that?
Granted, I deserve it, but at the same time, let it go, man.
I was waiting for you to pipe up and fire back, and no, it didn't. It's just like,
I mean, I didn't really get a chance, right? Because it was it was just like a rapid fire, like and then smoking. It's like, well, what the fuck do I like? You know what I mean? It's just caught me by surprise. Then again, I shouldn't have been surprised, but whatever. Yeah, okay, never mind. It was a.
I don't have my camera on right now, but I'm doing Tai Chi in an effort to let it go. I'm
let
trying
it
to
go, let it go.
Let it go.
I love that song, honestly.
So, Cerberus, was that you the other night when we were talking about the mind backstage that had the thought experiment about building the machine and falsifying it?
What
I
machine?
don't think so.
Huh?
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
It was you were there, I think.
Danny, how you doing?
Yeah, it's Danny. How's Danny feeling?
I'm doing fine. My school's not letting me come back till next week, though. So,
as they shouldn't.
Well,
whatever.
my doctor says I can go back today. So, but they don't care. They care. They care about the what do you call it? The
children.
Yes.
Well, that would suggest that the doctor. That would suggest the doctor wouldn't care about children. What is the CDC people? They have.
Oh, that was perfect.
I love
guidelines and policies.
Danny was struggling. He was struggling as a teacher. He was struggling to find that word. The children.
But the kids would be okay. It's like their grandparents and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's
no, not necessarily. Some I've heard of a couple cases here where very young children have died from this shit. So.
Well, I think the flu is. I think I'm right on this, but I think the flu is more dangerous to infants than it is than COVID.
Well, I don't know about infants. To children, it's more dangerous to children than COVID.
Really, I when I looked at the data, I didn't see anything like that. But I haven't looked at it.
Well, you're not. Well, you're not. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It'll come to me. But Speed, who you should reach out to if you want to talk about the vaccine and how people are going fucking insane over it. How this new vaccine is it's gonna change our DNA when all it does is change RNA by allowing the body to produce the protein that the virus the virus has, thus bypassing injecting a virus in the first place.
Caravis, according to the CDC, the risk of complications for healthy children is higher for flu compared to COVID-19.
Wait, hold on. Danny is off the market now.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Yep.
I thought I said flu was more dangerous for children.
Yeah, I agree. You said infants, and I said I don't know if it's infants, but I know children. It's more dangerous.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, wouldn't an infant count as a child?
No, it's a different cohort in the population.
So why is that? What causes that? Is it the fact that it goes to pneumonia that's how it kills you?
Oh, well, maybe because it seems like most of the damage caused by COVID is actually from your immune system overreacting.
Yeah. Okay. What is it? What do they call it? Something storm? I don't remember. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what kills a lot of people, if not pneumonia and stuff like that.
Also, I think younger folks anyway have a better ability to fight off inflammation.
Well,
in
they just
old
they just
form.
inflame less. Period.
They what?
They just inflame less. They don't actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my immune system is kind of like my mom, and COVID is kind of like my friend Rodney.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
She overreacted to Rodney a lot.
Like
We'll say yes. We'll just say yes and change the subject.
the only real
She overreacted to Rodney, and she tried to kill me a couple times. So anyway,
the only real dangerous situation with the vaccines is that independent study is starting to find that the Chinese vaccine might be less than 50%.
Oh yeah, I saw
effective.
something like that. Like, didn't they admit? Weirdly, the government admitted that their vaccines weren't that effective.
Well, yeah, they did so by saying the rest of the world's vaccine isn't effective, just like theirs, and then their own numbers. Their own numbers
Wow.
say it's like 63, but then independent studies show that it's like just barely above 50, which actually isn't enough for herd immunity.
Wow, China! They shot themselves in the foot. Like, well, the other world's vaccine isn't effective, just like ours. Wait, what?
Well, that's one thing. Like most of the vaccines are actually just high 60s, which is like just barely enough. Pfizer's vaccine's like 90 something.
what if you got both Pfizer and Moderna? If you did both vaccines, what would happen?
I'm
Anything?
not sure. I don't think it would. Yeah, I don't think it would do much anything.
And what if it would give you more immunity?
But where's
I don't know.
this? But where is this? It'll alter DNA come from? Like, okay.
Oh well, these don't do that. 'Cause I don't think these are actually the RNA.
Yeah,
vaccine.
I forget when the fuck I had this argument with somebody, but it's like, well, I'm not letting the government alter my DNA. I'm like, well, it doesn't alter DNA; it alters RNA. There's a difference there.
It puts RNA inside your cells, and then your cells reproduce it.
Exact. Yes. It alters RNA.
Which means it doesn't change your genetic code. But it does make your cells have to make more genetic code.
Well, yeah. It basically quote unquote teaches your immune cells to recognize this one protein that the virus has. If I read correctly, you know what I mean?
Well, it's not so much teaching. It's literally putting RNA in your cells, and then your cells just carry that over for the rest of your life.
Well, yeah.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just we agree. Just
But
words are different.
There is an issue with it. If you have too many of them, you can put too much metabolic strain on your cells.
Oh no, obviously.
Waiting for Minnesota's numbers to start going down. That'll be because we're getting increasingly more vaccinated, and I'm hoping that it's going to reverse this goddamn thing because we're not doing so well.
Oh, it's going to be a while.
It's still raging out here.
Yeah,
it's still killing about 16 people a day in Minnesota. So
it's going to be like another 6 or 7 months before you get to like 3/4 of the population.
So have they talked about how is this going to be cyclical like the flu? Like, we're going to have to get shots every 2-3 years or something?
they don't know yet.
Yeah, they don't know how long the vaccines will last.
Yeah.
In theory, if you get enough people vaccinated all at the same time, you won't have to do it again because the disease will go away.
Wait, but is that true for flu?
Flu has a cycle where flu has a cycle with birds and stuff where it goes in and out and mutates. So flu is kind of a bitch because it comes back seasonally. And I don't know enough about it to comment any further than that.
There's only so many types of flu that can affect human beings, right? Because it's just how they interact with our cells. We can theoretically make a bunch of vaccines and vaccinate everybody for each kind of flu that can affect us. But I don't think we're going to do that because the flu just doesn't kill enough of us.
Not anymore, anyway.
Well, Creo Debunk here hit it on the head. This is a real problem with microchips.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get like people made jokes about that on this channel for months. Like even Scott said, like my microchip could open the garage, right? Scott.
Yeah, damn it! I was just writing that for Creo, and you said it right as I had. Thanks a hell of a lot. But anyway,
That might have been a typo, but I like the idea.
I'm starting.
Burn hotter.
I'm starting to appreciate Pine Creek. Like he posted the status. Muslims want me to learn more about Islam, so on Monday, Apostate Prophet will try to stop by to teach me some things about Islam. Oh my gosh!
I mean, I hope it doesn't convert like the other person.
Who said that? Goodbye?
That was Pine Creek. That was pretty funny.
Oh, Pine Creek.
In fact, I stopped watching that to come on here. So you better make the rest of this good, Speed.
At first, I didn't like Pine Creek. At first, I didn't like Pine Creek, but I had him really misunderstood. He's not like he's like there for the entertainment,
I mean, you can be there for the entertainment and have a discussion.
Well,
I would get.
No, I don't. He doesn't. He's not interested in like philosophical discussions or like real like. He's there for the entertainment.
You can be there for both.
I thought I heard him have one with you about naturalism one time, but anyway, I would be more likely to make this weather report entertaining if you bastards would hit the like button out there, because only 11 of you have.
All right, fine.
Never.
20 you watching.
There you go. Speed, I've never downvoted any of your videos.
I know. I've noticed that because I know who downvotes.
Well, how do you know that? Because they as far as I know, they don't tell you who downvotes, do they?
Well, he doesn't ever get downvotes. I mean, like all of his streams, even the ones where it gets heated between us, they don't have downvotes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. The only time we get downvotes is when we piss Otangelo off or SFT.
Yeah, so, I think that's kind of stupid. I just think that's really I'm all about like I want people to be successful, even if I hate them. And what I mean by hate here is like if I get heated, like I would hate that like to contribute to someone's like non-success, even if it was like 0.001%.
Yeah, I go over and I upvote your videos, but I gotta admit, I'm grinding my teeth when I do it.
Well, he's had some good scholars on, and I always
he's had some good streams. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna bring someone in May. I don't have. I have to write. These are the last 2 weeks of grad school, so I'm kind of like crunched for time now.
Total grad school or just this quarter?
This quarter, this semester.
So how many semesters or quarters do you have left before?
Well, I could finish in 2 more, but I'm thinking about taking it slow because I'm working, but I'm not so sure.
We don't go over and upvote enough of Brainbug's videos. We should all do that today.
I know. I always upvote Brainbug. He has such interesting content.
Yeah. So Atheist Junior, he only has 1 video, I think, or maybe 2 now. He's new on the scene. It's Atheist Space Junior, and I'll see if I can find a link to his channel. But he's kind of new.
It's something about blasphemy channel. Whatever, only has 2 videos.
Oh, maybe that's him. Do I have this wrong? Okay, I might have it wrong.
Well, I think he has more than. I think Atheist Junior has more than 2.
Oh, he has a bunch. Is he the one with the bunch?
Blasphemy, something that you promoted, only has 2. It's a very new channel.
Yeah, the blasphemy one. Okay. I could write this shit down somewhere. Only I had a computer where I could write shit down. So anyway, so Sal Cordova last night was talking a little bit about his experience with the church. And apparently he's had some ups and downs with the church. Has anybody listened to any of that or have any comments on that?
No, not really.
He's expressed that where like he wants to like teach apologetics or something to kind of shut him down, and that they don't Like they don't really emphasize like science learning or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, he's apparently he tried to bring science to the church as a means of believing, and they didn't appreciate it. It's kind of what I got.
A lot of churches don't believe in apologetics.
Yeah.
It's not a doctrinal thing. It's just a viewpoint that people get. They think the preaching of the gospel is effective and above it in just in itself, and apologetics just isn't necessary. You can't prove Jesus. You can't prove the Bible. Just preach the gospel. And a lot of people have that attitude. Plus, we don't know the way he's going about it either. Plus, there's just churches that aren't really into the same.
Well, the idea of
maybe you just have the wrong skill set for that organization, and you just need to find one that's more consistent with it.
Yeah, the idea of
can I get an amen? Come on, don't leave me hanging.
Okay, yeah, no, I remember like when I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, I was a young Earth creationist, and I was trying to get my church to like do these sorts of classes, and they wouldn't. In fact, I was like one of those like prudes where like this was during the early 2000s, and they had video games started to become very popular. So what the church did is they bought like 6 Xboxes and like 4 PlayStations and set it up all around the youth center. And I remember as a little like 12-year-old being so outraged that, I mean, okay, we're not doing classes on theology or on creation science. Instead, they're putting in video game, they're attracting like all sorts of people that are not even at all interested in the faith, right? But so I shared that frustration as a little kid.
Well, what is the idea here to prove God, but with science? I mean, is that kind of what he's saying?
Well, he wanted to use biochemistry, etc., to to show that the Bible teaches all that, or that supports the Bible. I don't know, because I look in the there's just no chemistry 101 chapter in Genesis or Revelation. It's just that's not what the Bible's about.
Let's give it a listen here and see what he says.
It's easier to.
Can you hear it? Oh, you can't hear it. I can't hear it. You guys can probably hear it, right?
I heard it.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't. Okay.
To have a church policy that says, okay, we'll just teach straight from the Bible and you comment on it. The moment you try to, they feel uncomfortable. It's like, okay, how are you going to try to prove the Bible? Oh, I'm going to take principles from chemistry, biochemistry, cell biology. We'll study physics, astrophysics, cosmology, history, and archaeology. They feel very uncomfortable with that. It's like, what does this have to do? You need to be talking about the love of Jesus. You need to be talking about evangelism. And I found some really sad, it's a mixed bag. Some of you can tell that I've had a lot of disappointments in church because they nearly made an atheist, or really more of an agnostic. I wouldn't go so far as to say an atheist, but they almost drove me out of the Christian faith because of the way they did business. Collectively, there's some really sweet and wonderful people there that kept me in the church. Thank God for them. But then there's some that were pretty harsh and hostile. I didn't feel free to express doubts. I didn't feel free to express questions without being denigrated and singled out and just demeaned. People had the attitudes like, oh, I'm so much better than Sal because I have so much faith. Look at you. You have such puny faith. You sinner. I mean, that's how I was treated by some of these people. They just looked down on me.
Okay. Yeah, that was it. It's like, okay, teaching, instead of teaching from the Bible, he's going to appeal to biochemistry and physics and cosmology to prove the Bible. and he does it with young Earth creationism. And I can understand why some churches would say, no, it's like, no, we're teaching Christian faith. We're not teaching chemistry and biochemistry here. So I got a feeling, but anyway, I think it's an important part of the puzzle that is Sal Cordova. So just thought we'd keep an eye on that.
No, but I totally. I mean, are you saying you don't understand him? Like, he's basically wanting to introduce a kind of apologetic in the church, and they're hostile towards it. This is not just true of like creationism, but just apologetics in general, philosophy. Like, it's just not something that churches are interested in. And
well, no, he didn't say apologetics in general. He is specifically talking about young Earth creationism. But
that's a kind of apologetic, right? To teach.
Well, it doesn't matter if they're not a young Earth creationist fundamentalist church, they're probably going to respond to it kind of negatively,
but he didn't stipulate that, right? I don't know what they're.
Yeah, he kind of did when you listen to his words. He said biochemistry and physics. That's how he's going to prove the Bible.
I'm saying that he didn't stipulate that they were, let's say, sympathetic towards old Earth or theistic evolution. That wasn't the problem that he highlighted, right? I'm saying that there's this general problem in Christian churches that if any kind of apologetic, whether that be young Earth creationism, theistic evolution, apologetics, like with respect to philosophy, even theology, even like most Christians don't know the difference between Calvinism and Arminianism, right? No, I mean, they're just not interested, and they're hostile to most of these churches that I've experienced are kind of hostile to bringing that stuff in. And it's frustrating for someone. Basically, I think and Sal can correct me. I'm sure that someone can relay this to me, but it seems like the American church is somewhat hostile to intellectuals, like that want to bring intellectualism, an intellectual aspect to the church.
But what do you think Sal's method is? Do you think it has anything to do with biochemistry and science, or do you think he's bringing precept apologetics into his site? Like when you look at his site, his YouTube channel, what do you think he's doing?
It seems like an apologetic to me.
What kind of apologetic?
Young Earth creationism.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of churches are sympathetic towards that.
But do you understand the difference between young Earth creationism and say something like theology and presupposition or whatever, or some other method of
not in these churches.
None of these churches.
A lot of these churches don't take a strong position on these things, right? And he didn't stipulate that it was because of his support of young Earth creationism rather than theistic evolution, let's say, that he was ostracized. I didn't get that at all.
Okay, but just think about Praise's channel, where a number Praise and SFT and Smokey and the whole bunch came up with a bunch of theology 6 months ago or about 6 months ago, and they got into it real heavily. And what happened to their community?
What about this, right? I mean, are they suggesting that if their reasons are, look, we don't take a position on this stuff and we're scared of a split, I think he would have understood that.
Okay. But what happened to Praises?
Look, I'm saying that I experienced something very similar to Sal. Okay. Even past my and I think a lot of like quote unquote intellectual Christians, they want to bring, certain, whether that they're interested in theology or young Earth creationism, theistic evolution, apologetics. Generally speaking, the church is just not interested.
Okay.
Yeah, I think modern day churches are more interested in the praise music.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ideas that are sermons that have more to do with their day-to-day problems, and then the kind of Bible studies they want to do in homes and small groups and things.
Yeah, that's it. Now, it could be that I'm not saying you're wrong, Speed. Maybe it was that they were afraid of the young Earth creation agenda or something like that. I just didn't see any evidence in his testimony of that.
Oh, I did, but then I'm reading between the lines, granted. So yeah, because I know what Sal's plan is. basically to introduce it through. He's trying to create this science-based proof of young Earth creationism in the Bible. So
I think he would answer honestly. Someone could ask him, maybe not anyone here. Was it that they were kind of what do you call it? Skeptical of young Earth? You know, that is that the reason why they kind of pushed you out? And I think he would answer honestly.
I don't know. I think most apologetics is actually just making the religion weaker.
Really?
Yes.
I think it's.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's
think
one
so.
of actually that's one of the things that got me away from Christianity was listening to presuppositional apologetics.
Oh, well,
'Cause
presup. Oh, yeah, presup, but not
and,
like.
and other apologetics. If you have to, the kind of apologetic that's out there that a lot of Christians, especially YouTube Christians, are pulling out, they're no.
Well, a lot of ironically, like it took a lot of the arguments given by like atheists on YouTube are kind of nauseating.
Well, the apologetic. Well, honestly, you don't even need to argue with the atheists at all. You can just look over at Praise's channel and watch. And when
That's
they have
what I
like
said.
7 or 8 Christian theists on there, and none of them can agree on points of soteriology or eschatology, then you can just sit back and go, "We'll wait till they figure that one out." Other than that,
I don't know what the point is here, right? What is the point?
The point seems to be that as an intellectual pursuit and looking for a deity, Christianity does not seem to be the way to go. And I agree that a lot of what happens in the churches here in the United States, that this religion is about making people feel better about themselves, feel better about each other, and giving people a sense of hope and security for things to come.
Yeah,
I guess we just have different anecdotes. I don't think you have anything, nor do I have anything to support a generalized claim here.
No, the only way I can support my claim is in the way that people actually feel, what people gain from going to church and believing in these particular religions. Why are they? What is? If you're asking them for motivation, I'm not talking about Sal. I'm not talking about some of the YouTube theists that we see on here. These people are far removed from Christians that I grew up with. Most of the people enjoyed the community of going to church, how God made them feel. They felt good going to church, and the faith and the hope of things yet to come. Those were things that and being able to pray and seek guidance from some kind of unseen deity gave them kind of a warm, fuzzy feeling about things that they didn't know about.
Maybe I misunderstood you. I thought the claim was that apologetics is now a deterrent for Christianity.
Deterrent.
That's not an apologetic. That's person being honest about. That's people just being honest about what does Christianity actually do for me. What does this religion do for me? I go there, I feel a sense of community, I feel a sense of comfort. I believe this for some whatever reasons, mainly because it feels good and it's like a warm blanket about
this is true all around. This is true. I mean, like a lot of atheists are not justified in their belief either, right? I mean, they have their sociological reasons for why they're atheists.
Well, a lot of people,
I'm the one that made the claim. As soon as you're done, I'll talk about it.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Well, so here's the thing. I agree. The atheist claim doesn't stand up any better than theism. But the thing is, it's all the other things that you end up agreeing with when you're an atheist in general that holds up way better than the apologetics against them. Right? The large, basically having an apologetic expands how do you want to put it, like the mental field in which you come in contact with your enemy, and the apologetic doesn't stand up to scrutiny of the standards they're trying to argue, right? So now we don't have to argue about whether Jesus existed or not. I can just turn people away from your religion to show that your young earth creationism is bullshit, which honestly has nothing to do with the main claim of the religion, but I can turn people away from your religion without even addressing it now.
Look, I mean, I just wanted to contend with the claim that a church is going to turn off people to Christianity if they engage in apologetics in general. Now, there are certain there's precept apologetics.
Why would anybody within a church have to give presupposition, do any kind of apologetics while attending that particular church?
Well, because like my church did apologetics, and there were a lot of people interested in the topic. So it's to invigorate people in their faith, right? And kind of acquaint themselves with a discipline in academia, right? Like, I mean, like philosophy, that is, right? And I think
I think if you're going around the lines of looking at the church, if the church is seeking from secular sources, such as like Kalam cosmological arguments and the other kind of other philosophical arguments for just a deity or deities in general, those those are nothing that I was ever growing up with in the church. Nobody used those to bolster a claim in the deity that we worshipped and that we grew up to believe that we knew was true. So
Okay, then I'm misunderstanding the claim. Then I thought that you were saying that it's not to the benefit of the average church that they implement an apologetics unit, so to speak.
No, the only reason that the church itself would have apologetics would be for anyone who's criticizing the views of that particular church.
No, people like apologetics in itself, like I did, and there are people that want to.
I get that, but I'm saying that I don't see that as when they're trying to take something. The majority of Christians are doing this because this kind of community and this belief makes them feel better about the uncertainty of this world, right? They don't need an apologetic to continue going, right? The apologetics come in to reinforce the beliefs by those criticizing them from the outside or even from within.
Well, in certain cases, no, I mean, but maybe we're not.
You don't need to make an apologetic amongst a bunch of people who all agree on the same soteriology, eschatology, and doctrines of a particular faith.
Look, no. Like, I guess what I mean by apologetics is I'm talking about like classical apologetics. I'm not really talking about theology. Okay, like I'm talking about like the Craig people, the Craig parrots out there, the sort of Pfizer, which is the Catholic version of Craig, right? There are these people that can be introduced into the church and invigorate certain members in their faith, right? It's not just just criticism.
Sure, some people get on they kind of like the idea they're getting tasked to defend the faith.
Yeah.
And they're using apologetics to defend the faith. Again, that's not something that happens necessarily within the church. That's something that can happen if you have certain people that come into the church and start having split views on the doctrine, because as apologetics says, regretfully acknowledging or excusing an offense or failure, well, that's an apologetic of the nature of formal defense or justification of something such as a theory or religious doctrine. Right?
I just wanted to contest. I think that some churches, in fact, most churches, would benefit from doing kind of apologetic. I don't see harm in them. That's all
I think the churches that engage in that are churches like the NIFB, and they're now labeled as a hate group.
Well, also apologetics would also be people would be more amenable to it, and your more evangelical type churches where they value the Great Commission out of the Matthew, and are believing that therefore.
To be fair, the Great Commission requires no apologetic. It's simply that they spread the Great Commission, they spread the gospel, and if people don't accept it, then you just leave. Right. You don't have to sit there and make an argument about it at all. If the Holy Spirit does not move them by them ministering about the Holy Spirit, about Jesus Christ's salvation, then they're just not going to get it. And then as a disciple, you were basically told to just walk away. You're not supposed to make excuses about what happens in the religion at all. You just leave.
Well, but in some evangelical traditions, there's the idea of answering objections, and that's what apologetics
exactly
to. But not it's not usually taught as your more formal philosophical type apologetic. Although I've seen that come out of ministries like there was a purity kind of ministry that went on for years when I was a youth, but it was also before I. Sorry, hold on.
I don't have a lot of time, so I'll just say this, and I don't disagree fundamentally with what you're saying at all. The trick is that the apologetics comes in when Christianity, at least using Christianity as an example, when the religion was being promoted as by word of mouth, right? Then there wasn't a lot of criticism, and there wouldn't have been a lot of apologetics that were developed in defense of certain things that were going on in that religion. Now, over the years, over thousands of years, and it's not just with Christianity anymore, it's with lots of other religions, where people start to take a more reasoned and critical approach to certain views of these religions. Then what happens is these particular religions develop apologetics to basically defend some of the critiques that other people have
This is
made.
demonstrably false, right? Like, think about the like Anselm and Augustine. I mean, like the Catholic Church in its antiquity have long been known for developing defenses or arguments for their faith. I mean,
again, they developed them. Yes, they developed them over time. You were actually proving my point.
wait, you said we're getting to? You said word for word. We're getting to a point where now we're starting to think reasonably and critically about these issues.
Yes, over
that's
time.
always been the case.
No, not necessarily. Not when people were unaware of what was actually being first propositioned to them. No.
I don't understand.
When a religion is new, people don't know what it's about. Not completely. And when people are going around promoting it by word of mouth, such as would have been probably with the Christian faith, then people would just either accept it or not accept it. Right?
I really don't know what you're saying.
If something new comes about, if it's a novel religion and nobody
was
really...
it novel during Aquinas?
I wasn't
Anselm?
talking... I never said it was novel during Aquinas or Anselm.
It was a question.
I'm talking about whether or not when the religion was new.
So like 2,000 years?
When the religion was being promoted, nobody knew about it except for those who were spreading it and the people who were hearing the message about this particular salvation message. This would happen with any new kind of religion that is proposition, right? You don't know about it, you find out more about it. Over the years, so even during like times of Aquinas, which was obviously a lot further along down the road than from when the religion actually first started, then people would start having more criticisms and thinking more about these kind of stuff. Apologetics would start to come about. Why is this like this? Why is this verse saying this? How do people now justify these things? Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, I'm starting to see what you're saying. I just don't know. Maybe we're changing the subject. I don't know. Maybe we're not disagreeing.
I'm talking about from the fundamental beginnings of a religion, when nobody knows what it is. Nobody has to develop an apologetic if everybody's on board. Okay, we've got this religion, we've got this message, we go out and we spread it.
No, well, I mean, Paul was like very, very argumentative towards the Greek philosophers, right, and the Stoics at the time. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't think I'm disagreeing with you. It seems like it's true that the longer an idea has been out there, the more likely there are going to be criticisms of the idea.
Exactly.
I'm fine with that, right? But what is this? This is to show what exactly?
What? Because most.
Well, he would have been arguing with the Roman philosophers, not the Greeks.
I'm sorry. Yes, that's right.
The Greek, but the other thing is, the thing is that once people are kind of set on an idea, they don't need the apologetic to bolster it. The apologetic the apologetics, in my opinion, comes from those who are criticizing from the outside. They're criticizing what is the reason of believing in this particular deity. Why do we hold to these doctrines? Why do we hold to this set soteriology? Why do we hold to these views on eschatology? Right? And that's how you get divisions that's how you get different Christian denominations, is because people started questioning, what do these verses actually mean? People had different opinions of them. Then they would criticize them. Then other members of the church would say, no, that's indefensible. They would have to develop an apologetic to defend those views. That person would develop an apologetic to defend their views. And then they would divide. And then that person finds another denomination where their doctrines and their church guidelines are based on their interpretation of the eschatology or soteriology.
Also, Red Fang, it was Greek philosophy. He was all over Greece, by the way. It wasn't just Rome. Paul was, that is.
Oh, come on, Speed. God damn it. I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm proud of that. Even if they don't have a particular, like a particular set of like, this is established theology, I'm proud of churches that hold classes in theology, philosophy, apologetics. I think that's admirable. It's something they're sort of speaking my language.
Yeah, I think however, I think when Calvinists do it, I think it's a little hypocritical. considering how Calvinists are all about the Holy Spirit regenerating you, not whether or not your mind comes to a
Yeah,
rational
they might
argument.
be inconsistent. They might be inconsistent, but it's just, to me, it's like when someone from a different country tries to learn my language to communicate with me, that's appreciated in the same. I appreciate that similar to how I appreciate when religious people, whether they be Christians, Mormons, I don't care, when they
yeah, but I think that's more along the lines of charity, not apologetics. Apologetics is not meant to be charitable.
No, I'm just saying, look, when they engage, let's say they decide to do a book like On Guard. On Guard is a beginner's book on apologetics written by William Lane Craig, right?
Hey, sir, I'm sorry, not sir. I'm sorry, Danny. Let's put a pin in this. I got to go. I got 5 minutes. I got to head out the door. We'll put a pin in this. All right. Good talking to you guys. See ya.
See you, Jay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think in general, and honestly, I think it's just the way it's done, right? If doctrine and interpretation of doctrine is moved to be in line with logic and science, or at least as they stand at the time, right? It will actually be usable. It would be strong, but at that point, you don't even need it because the doctrine lines up with what everyone else considers reality. Right, but if you're not going to change your doctrine to line up with logic and science, then any apologetic you have is going to be extremely weak compared to just arguing that this makes everyone feel good, gives them hope, and you can have a large family.
Yeah, I'm just speaking for myself. I mean, some people have different views about what Christians should do in terms of how to handle contradiction and scientific tension, right? But I'm just saying, speaking for me personally, even if they're unsuccessful, I like it when Christians pursue justifications for their beliefs, even if they fail, right? It's just something that I admire. Now, if someone doesn't admire that, if you feel like that's a problem, I don't think we're really disagreeing.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just talking about strategy.
Yeah,
I couldn't care less otherwise.
I don't know what the strategy is. It seems like it.
To maintain and propagate the faith, I think, is the strategy, right? I guess that's the goal. The strategy would be the apologetics.
That's going to be true of any endeavor of a religious
Yeah.
person. When would they? Yeah. Right. Okay. That's going to be true when they do charity work.
And charity work is way better than any apologetic.
Probably, yeah, but I would prefer them. My personal view, I want people to be helped, but at the same time, if Christianity was completely detached, like look what happened to Islam. Okay, Islam is a very sad case where philosophy is just kind of like I've never talked to a very well versed Muslim in apologetics or in philosophy. There are very few. Okay, I could probably name one or two that I've been impressed by. It's because it's not in their culture. It's not. I don't think it's because of anything to do with like Islam in itself. But Christians, there are a lot of Christians that have leapt into all these fields and try. And I just admire that. That's all.
That seems slightly strange to me, considering that really philosophy. I wouldn't say it was started, but it was. What's the word I'm looking for? Re-engaged in the Western world through Islam.
Yeah, but and that was a while ago. I'm saying today.
Today.
It's true. They've contributed a lot. I'm just saying the way the average Muslim on YouTube is usually a lot less philosophically adept than the average Christian. But I think that's my experience.
That might be your sampling size rather than the actual facts of the situation.
Well, I mean, I've heard other people agree, and maybe that's just more of a sampling size on my part. But
maybe
I think it'd be interesting to find some sort of support for it.
I mean, I would also like to point out, if you believe that they actually don't really do apologetics that much, I'd like to point out that they're the fastest growing religion.
Well, that I don't know if it's because of apologetics, but I think they are interested in. If you want to ever the language of a Muslim, you can probably find a few Christians that you can speak to philosophy. You can do philosophy and get through to them, or you can understand each other. But the language of Muslims is the Quran. Like, you have to know your Quran really, really well. You can't just straw man it, right? There's a guy on Discord named what's his name? I think he was an ex-Muslim. His name is Simos. You're gonna have to help me. He's a mod at CC's channel.
I don't know.
But he knows the Quran very well, and he really knows how to talk to Muslims. And it's not bringing these fancy, it's a study of the Quran that makes that possible.
Sure.
Venus. I don't know if you don't know Venus, but Venus knows the Quran very well. He knows the histories very well, the hadiths very well, and that's Muslims really have an ear for that, right? It's much easier to get through to them and have a discussion and disagree with them in a healthy way. Like, you just got to know your Quran. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're going to go into dialect with anybody from the faith, then knowing their foundational books is going to be important. And they're exactly the same arguments that Christianity have. I mean, there's no real difference, as far as I can tell.
But
there's only one apologetic, which is the idea of because the Quran's written in classical Arabic, that could only be done by somebody like God.
Take the problem of evil. The way a lot of Christians try to form a theodicy, right? And they might even acknowledge the kind of force of the argument, but the average Muslim doesn't see the force of it. In fact, their response is rather than giving a theodicy, they kind of just do it is what it is. Allah is Allah. Of course, Christians respond that way as well, but I'm just saying I'm more likely to get a theodicy out of a Christian than out of a Muslim.
Sure.
And
there's another reason for that, which is the doctrine is completely different. Whereas Christians want to hang on this omnibenevolent God who sees everything. Allah has a different attitude, which is, there are two books which get weighed.
I'm just saying that
hang on.
The classical arguments against theism don't as well apply to Muslims as well as I think. I think that to get through a Muslim, I think it's more effective to know your Quran or know your history.
Again, it depends what kind of apologetic you want to run on them, right? I mean, they'll run the Kalam. I mean, the Kalam is an Arabic word. After all, it was first thought up by
but you don't have that sort of background. You don't have that sort of background where you don't have that prior in which, like, let's say, take any argument against natural theology, that I think it'd be more effective, or at least responded different. Like the two religions seem to respond to them very differently. No one else has experienced that.
I wouldn't say very differently on that particular subject. No, it's almost identical, in fact. But obviously, the claims that are actually made are relevant to the books because that's what they're talking about. Whereas, Darth Dawkins will say natural revelation, everything points to God. Muslims say exactly the same thing. If you want to criticize it, you have to be more specific about what's written in the book. And, the Muslims have a book which is, I think, got slightly more holes in it than Christianity, because Christianity itself is contradictory, whereas the Muslim pretends not to be.
I have to go. See y'all later.
See you, Danny.
Well, I'll bet you $10 that Cell's plan is to teach pseudoscience to convert Christians, which is what I was saying originally.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty goddamn sure that he's not into any other kind of apologetics.
Right.
And
you're not going to be hearing Thomas Aquinas or.
And I think that's very, very different than trying to attack it philosophically or theologically. Teaching pseudoscience to convert young children to Christianity, in my view, is despicable.
Well, I mean, it's evidentialism, isn't it? So that's basically Sal's position. It's always going to be that
it-
way, and
And
that's
the problem for Christianity is that it fails so goddamn badly. I mean, when it's not going to work on. Not everybody's going to buy this bullshit about the Earth being 6,000 years old when they look at a rock. They're going to say, "Wait a minute, if you're lying to me about this, I'm going to bail on the rest of it." So I don't think they're doing themselves any favors, and I think that might have been some of the pushback that he was getting from some of the churches that he tried to do that in. So.
Yeah, so many methods of dating have pointed to, a 4.5 billion year old Earth and millions and millions and millions of years of evolution, and that kind of scale is not going to reduce down to 6,000 years, and a lot of Christians know that. Probably a lot of Christian scholars and educators.
Yeah, I saw this comment on one of the channels the other night. I forget who it was, but he said, "Let's pray for a big breakthrough in radiometric dating for creationism in the next, in the next few years." So they're holding their breath, hoping for this big breakthrough that's going to prove that the Earth is 6,000 years old. Oh my God, these people! Oh.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So you said, see, I think I think indoctrinating, if you want to use that word, kids into Christianity is fantastic, because I think it's way worse than nationalism, and that's your other option.
Really?
Way worse than what?
Nationalism.
Nationalism.
Well, nationalism is way worse. I think it's a better option.
Is that an either-or situation?
Oh, definitely. I would bet all my money that if you were a Christian, even though you're probably not that nationalistic, you would be less nationalistic.
Oh, did you say nationalism or naturalism?
Nationalism.
Oh, nationalism. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I don't know if that's a thing.
No, it is, because Christianity is.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely a thing. I mean, also known as what does Hitchens call it? The right wing of the Catholic Church is fascism.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
The two have been linked in history for a long time, since the First World War, really. If
well,
not before.
The right wing in the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're behind most of the.
I thought it was just the opposite.
No, they're the fascists, National Socialists.
No, yeah, but right wing, I think he means kind of a global thing, like
no, I mean most
the Hitlers, the Mussolinis, dictators down in South America, kind of right wing, not what we're considering a spectrum, generally democratic people.
You got to keep in mind, though, a fascist nation.
That doesn't describe the U.S. Catholics.
Is only good and bad in relation to the leadership, right? It's like a monarchy, right?
Yeah,
So
like
it's simply being
Putin,
fascist doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's capable of great bad.
Correction, with Putin, it's the Russian Orthodox Church, and with Trump, it was the evangelicals.
Yeah, but the thing is, compared to like a real statist fascism, like what you had under Mussolini, or like the extreme fascists that you have here in the few here in America, Christianity is really benign. And honestly, people don't have enough time to figure out life and everything around them, and religion's just shortcut to that. And if they don't have it, they'll just become fucking Nazis.
I don't know. I don't think with the internet being what it is today that nationalism is going to live very long.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's as much as a tool for it as anything else.
Yeah, well, there's just like it's a tool for young Earth creationism, but what is the overall impact? I think the overall impact, when you talk to a ton of, I mean, I have friends from all over the world now, and that would have never happened in 1960.
How many flat earthers do you think there were 20 years ago?
I don't know.
You think
Zero?
less than now?
Huh? Yeah, there's more now.
Like the internet. Yeah. The internet's just an advanced telephone system. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, all it is a communication. It doesn't change any group's ability in relation to each other to like win.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I have a more positive view of humanity than to think that anything else was going to happen, but moving toward a more global ism, because I don't think you can like talk to people from other countries and keep the idea that there's some kind of evil, monsters over there. Like we kind of believed at times in our history when we were very isolated, right?
Okay, but
We're not.
wait a second. How do you think we're going to get a globalist state without having fascism?
Well, I'm not saying a globalist state. I'm saying a global view of basically humanity. We're not wildly nationalistic about our I'm from the US of A, that bullshit. I mean, that I think that is at least damping down in the United States for damn sure among the youth. I mean, it isn't a thing anymore as far as I can. At least the people that I rub shoulders with.
You got to be careful. Don't confuse a nation for a state.
A nation for a state.
Yeah, a nation is a group of people that identify as a group, basically. But it's a lot of the terms fallen out of favor the way it's been normally used. So now it's basically culture would be a good standard. But the thing, as soon as you say we need to have this global view about people, that's literally a step towards fascism, because you're saying that there's now a
no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, fascism would be like one government running everything one way,
No, a fascist nation doesn't need to have a government. They can try to form a government.
Okay.
This is an ideology. This is a way of functioning. It doesn't mean you need to have a government.
Okay, define fascism for me.
Well, I mean, so for Mussolini, right, which is, I guess he isn't the original of this, but it's the classic example of what a fascist is. Mussolini, he says a nation will do whatever is necessary for the benefit of the nation over the benefit of other nations and individuals.
Okay, so if we had a world fascism, we'd be doing something for the benefit of the earth and all of humanity over the aliens?
No, I mean, if you had a world fascism, what you would do is someone who was in charge, or people who were in charge, or people that could lead large groups of other people would go, you know what? It's technically better for everyone, whether it is or not, right? They'll just say it. It's technically better for everyone if people aren't in this area anymore, and we don't really have a good place to put you where it doesn't get worse, so we'll just burn you to death.
So what? But that would require some kind of government in order to do that sort of thing, right? Like some sort of world government?
Only if enough people aren't willing to just go along with it. Right, so I mean, nations in history have enacted law-like features without governments.
Okay.
Right, so you don't technically need a government; you just need enough people. But usually, when you get enough people, you tend to end up with a government. Right, it's just like next step.
Yeah, I think maybe we're talking about something different. I'm talking about having a softer, kinder view toward other countries.
Oh well, yeah, that's what I mean. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, definitely.
Yeah, I think in 2016, I the last vestiges of me thinking the USA is something to write home about left me.
But that's a shame, because it is probably one of the best places to live.
It is, but for 4 years there, it was pretty. It was kind of iffy as to whether or not.
Are you kidding me? That proved how great it was. If you installed someone like Trump in except for maybe a few other countries, like the UK or France or something, if you installed Trump in almost any other country on the face of the earth, it would have gone to shit.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, we survived it. So, has anybody seen Stephen Colbert's efforts to not ever say the word say Trump? What is it? Hashtag he who shall be named.
Shall not be named.
People have tried before. It just doesn't.
Yeah, that's great, Stephen Colbert.
It's far.
I noticed about 4 months ago, or 6 months ago, he would put star instead of Trump, and it never said his name. And finally, people caught on and realized what he was doing. So now it's the thing, but it's pretty funny.
It doesn't work because everyone knows what you're saying.
Yeah, I know, but it was funny. It was funny that he would never. He would read the thing, and he would say the president or some other word instead of Trump, even though it would say T star on it. It was funny. It was almost like he was, like he said, fuck, you know? It's like, it's pretty cool. Anyway, I love Colbert. Lately, I love him a lot. Anyway.
I wish he didn't leave his show.
You wish what?
I think he was much more relevant on his previous show.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. He's got his thing on YouTube every day. He does the monologue, and I hit it every day. It's just a joy. I can't watch anything but that. And then I'll watch John Oliver. Then I'll start watching fucking creationist bullshit after that. And that's when my day goes to hell.
You know what?
Anyway.
Even though Jon Stewart's out there doing good work, I miss Jon Stewart.
I miss Jon Stewart, yeah. Yep. It's pretty cool. Anyway, guys, we're coming up on 4 o'clock. I think we're about done for the day. There are 2 videos, actually 3 videos that are Sal Cordova's in my sights. Now, he came up with his, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's got this argument involving topoisomerase and zinc fingers, and he claims that it like disproves phylogeny. And I've listened to a couple of brief excerpts, and like he's not bringing his point home. And then he insists that no one is criticizing him, even though I did criticize him seriously last week. And I guess I got to put together a more PowerPointy kind of video to criticize what he's saying. But what he's saying is complete bullshit. And he is in my sights. So him and the ERVs on Standing for Truth, him and Raw Matt did this ERV thing. And I'm going to place I'm going to get some clips for you. But Raw Matt says some things that are just hilarious. It's just like Raw Matt the fruit bat. It's just like, what the fuck? This guy, when he starts trying to talk about science, he puts his foot in his mouth every other phrase, and it's just unbelievable. Anyway, but we'll get to that. It's what we do here. We pick on creationists, right?
Mm.
And argue with Danny. With Danny.
I'd like someone to do some research on Sal and find out exactly why he.
Start with that 2005 article we showed on. Did we show that on Snada, or where was that? Where we did that 2005 article. It's in one of my videos in the last week.
It might have been a Snada, yeah, or
it was Snada, because I linked it in the description, and it's a 2005 article where he was in Nature, where he was trying to run this college club about creationism.
It was called IDEA, but I don't know what it stood for. Intelligent Design.
Yep.
Education, I don't know.
And then he was hooked up with some people from Ben Stein's movie Expelled, and so he's been working on this bullshit of his for a long time, and I don't know. He is in my sights. I can see him through the sights of my little Glock 43 here. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you just say Glock 43. Either that or I just imagined it.
God damn it. I think you imagined it.
Oh, okay. Must be. Yeah,
he's in the sights of my YouTube channel. My anti-creationism YouTube channel. So just to make things clear. I just happened to see my Glock sitting here, and I just said that. My mind works that way. Anyway, so what else? So I think we can wrap it up for the day.
Yep. So Sal's quite emotional too, isn't he?
He is. Yeah,
he really is. I mean, he was emotional in that video that you were just the one that he just did last night, right?
Yeah.
He seemed, almost a little choked up and here and there. I mean, and then of course he got really choked up in his last debate, and so he's very emotionally
Passionate.
tied, to his religion. That's for sure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's tied in a ridiculous idea that the rocks are 6,000 years old, and I just see doom for him. I mean, if the man really wants to be happy, he would drop all this bullshit. But then, what would he do on his channel, right? I don't know. It's like, God, these people, if they would just find a way to fit their religion.
What would he do on his channel?
science.
Queso recipes. Come on. What else is there?
There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
I think it would be better for but anyway, so the nice thing about the creationists is that they do keep pointing out new interesting science topics for us, and we research them and figure them out, and that's cool. So I guess we need them in a fashion. So.
Yeah, the creationists are very creative.
They're very creative. They're always coming up with something new.
so
ERVs or,
real quick, I want to address what Avesta, I think it's how you pronounce it, said in the chat.
Okay.
So if you look into any book written generally about fascism, right? Other than the ones written by fascists themselves that deliberately tell you exactly what they're doing, they're all people that perceive themselves to be left-wing, and they want to call it right-wing. There's nothing about the system that's inherently right-wing.
Yeah.
Right. So socialist states,
Well,
the states that get built
by American standards.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It's not true in Europe.
the socialist states that are supposedly made to then usher in communism, those are fascist states. They do the exact same thing fascists do. They just give a wink and a nudge and say, oh yes, we will for sure dissolve ourselves when it's time. And then they just don't.
Yeah.
Fascist.
Yeah. I guess
some crisis. There's always some crisis. Oh well, it's just not the right time now.
Well, yeah, and the longer they stay in power, the more. So all those people, right? All those people in capitalism that work like insane hours to work their way up to the top. They're super motivated to be powerful and influential. Those people don't go away when you get rid of capitalism. They just change their goals and they get government. They go to the top and they fucking stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess in America right now, we're split between Republicans and Democrats, and we managed to keep each other on the center. And I think we're probably in a good place. So.
Cool. In which case, I'd just like to address what Othangelo said here. Thanks for providing one more episode proving that atheism provides no answers.
Oh, Tangelo's here.
Oh, God. Okay, carry on.
Oh, providing one more episode. Okay. There was that thing that said that.
As opposed to theism, which pretends to provide all the answers.
Right. So Sal had a thing up where Randolph Richardson says there are no answers in atheism, which happens to be the name of this channel. And I kind of agree with him that there are no answers in atheism, but I think there are a lot of answers in science and secular thinking. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Nobody's claimed that. I mean, atheism is just the lack of belief in God.
Right.
And,
yeah.
Or the denial of God.
Don't agree with you guys. I am the kind of atheist that denies the possibility of God. So. And God, I want to find. We were in the back room, and I can't remember who was talking because I didn't look. And some of you guys, your voices sound the same. And I was tired, and we were having a talk about falsifying consciousness being of physicality or of the mind. And the idea was to build a machine. If we built a machine that did everything the brain did, and it wasn't conscious, would that falsify it? And I was too tired to come up with proper answers, and I want to have that conversation again somewhere. Who the hell? I thought it was you, Cerberus. Maybe it was Dessel.
I'm sure you would recognize Seamus's voice because it is distinct.
I don't. Yeah, Yeah, well, Simos, I recognize your voice, but
Yeah, it's kind of you.
yeah. Well, I have a hell of a time recognizing either faces or voices. So
Cool.
it's just something like my brain doesn't make distinctions often. I have to see something visual.
Mm.
Like when I watch a series, I have to watch which actor has a mole because I can't recognize them from one scene to the next unless there's a mole or they're wearing the same clothes.
Speed.
No shit.
All I could say is, what kind of life have you led?
It's really fucking hard when I watch a series. I have to keep going back and I have to observe what clothes they have on because I can't recognize faces very well. Like people like this one woman, we were friends with this couple that we moved in next door to for like years. And she came up to me in a grocery store and she said hi to me and I didn't recognize her. And she was just pissed at me. But like, how do you explain to people that when I see faces, like I can see 20 people that all look the same to me? I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's really a bit. I mean, and I guess 2% of the 2 or 3% of the population has this facial blindness.
Mm-hmm.
And when you watch fucking series, they pick male actors that all look the same. They're all of the same genre. And I'm like, I wish they wouldn't do that. It's like, come on, get a bald guy and get a guy, or put a beard on him, or Photoshop some moles on him, or something or better yet, put little fucking numbers, character number 1, male lead number 1. Put that on his forehead or have that follow him around on the screen. That would be cool.
Sure.
I would appreciate it.
Yeah, it kind of negates the fact that they pay so much money for good-looking people on TV, though. But yeah, I get your point.
And what was that? The Dark, I think it was the German thing where they went back and forth in time, like to 4 different. Do you remember that?
I'm not a TV person myself.
Oh
I haven't
my
had
God,
a TV since 1980.
It was fucking horrible. I not only had to keep track of the characters in one time zone, I had to keep track of them when they were young, when they had different actors for every age. Because I think they went 33 years in like 5 different time periods, right? It would go every 33 years, something would happen. And like, I had to watch the first season of that about 4 fucking times and I still don't know what's going on.
Well, just to address this second point here, which is science points to God. Unfortunately, God doesn't know much science because there's very little of it in the Bible.
Who said that? Who said that?
Guess. Have a guess.
Otangelo's doing one-liners in the.
Oh no, not Otangelo.
Yeah.
He's just like.
I'm just saying. There's plenty of science that could have been put into the Bible, but unfortunately. It seems like they didn't know about germs. They didn't know about atoms. They didn't know,
or how to make penicillin.
They knew about the Egyptians. The Egyptians knew about penicillin, but that's another point.
Oh well.
Is there an index for the Bible? Because I want to go look up the solubility of argon in water and see if the Bible.
It's definitely in there. God created or flooded the world, right? So.
And there's some argon.
Also, I'd just like to point out there is quantum mechanics in the Bible because in one gospel it says that there were 2 Roman guards at the tomb, and in another gospel it says there weren't any. So that is superposition. You've got it in one speed. You're ahead of me.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm gonna have to go read that shit and give me some physics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And salvation of argon in water is very interesting to me. So I'm pretty sure it's in there. I'm going to go read the whole thing this afternoon and check.
100% it's in there. If you only go looking for it, you'll find it there.
Yep.
Nothing to do with confirmation bias.
No.
At all.
Okay, boys and girls, let's kill this. It's 4:00.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks for stopping in, guys. I really appreciate it. Everybody out there in chat, I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. And Scott, I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you. And just make sure you guys push the chairs back under the table as you go out the door.
As you leave.
Right. Place looking good. All right.
Yeah, and I know there's a pile of donuts there, but don't fucking take extras to bring home because we feed them to the homeless after the show. So there you go. Goodbye, cruel world.